SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Ford of Corinth has trucks built Ford tough with powerful engines and rugged exteriors. Whether you're hauling cargo, towing a trailer, or just need a reliable daily driver, Ford of Corinth has the truck for you, which includes a lifetime powertrain warranty. FordofCorinth.com.
Mississippi.
Everything gonna be all right this morning.
Mornings with Richard Cross.
Oh, yeah.
Here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Woo! Now, when I was a young boy, at the age of 5, my mother said I was gonna be the greatest man alive. But now I'm a man.
Hello and good morning. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for starting your day with Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi alongside Lance Tolbert. I'm Richard. Glad to have you. I know there are a few of you that you just kind of keep it tuned to SuperTalk all the time. And some of you sent us a message yesterday afternoon. I was with the boys on Sports Talk yesterday when the show came to a screeching and sudden and unpredicted halt and did not return. And I realized that left a lot of people going, hey, what's going on? You sent us messages about that. We had a big power outage that affected the entire building that is the worldwide headquarters of SuperTalk Mississippi. And it took a while, like well into the evening before power was able to be restored. Thank you to all of the people who worked hard to get that back on. I think Houston kind of leading the charge on our end of things. And that's what happened. So we tried to return as many messages as possible, but at some point I was like, I got to go. Got to shut it down for the night. So if you felt like you were left in the dark wondering what in the world happened, that's what happened. We, too, were left in the dark, quite literally. But fortunately, Lance is not in the dark this morning. Hello, Lance.
Oh, we have light. Yes. Everything
and more importantly?
And air conditioning. Yeah, I was having a nice conversation with Houston, and he went through all that had happened. And then right before we got off the phone last night, he goes, oh, and by the way, yeah, you won't have air conditioning tomorrow. I was like, what? No, everything was on, and they did an amazing job between the crews here at the building, our crews, and Entergy, I believe, in getting this thing crunked back up because it was not easy.
There you go.
So good work, fellas. And
Ed in New Hope says, generators? Yeah, Ed, we've got generators, and it was all systems fail. All I can tell you is it didn't work. And there was not an immediate solution, but we are glad to be with you this morning.
Yeah, it was normal for me here. Looked great. Everything crunk up and was running. I was excited.
Yeah,
had a couple of those days where it's not sometimes the easiest. So yeah, we're ready to roll, baby.
Yeah. We got a nice surprise on Sunday afternoon. Went out on the lake for the first time this year. And you know how when you got something that kind of sits up through the winter, and the first time you crank it, you're just hopeful? Like, okay, I didn't actually put the chargers on the battery to make sure everything was good. We hadn't done anything with the fuel other than put some stabilizer before it ended last year. Everything seems to, all right, here we go. Hold your breath. Crank, and it cranks, and it's like, oh, because it doesn't always work that way.
Yeah, that's a great day on the lake there, just knowing that you can crank it up anytime you want.
It was good. Really, really good.
You go to Sardis?
Yeah.
I've been out there a couple of times. We had a boat my dad and I had gotten. It was a little V-hull John boat. And, it was great, until it wasn't. Until it didn't want to crank anymore, you'd get out there. Me and a couple of buddies would be out there fishing, like, all right, let's move. And it would be, forever to crank it. And it went finally, one of my buddies and I, we got out there and we got marooned. We had to jump out of the boat and just swim it. And I mean, we were in the middle of the lake, man, and that lake is
big lake.
Yeah.
Big lake.
Wind was blowing. I mean, it took forever to get over. And it was the north side, too, what we were trying to get to. And golly, after that, we're like, all right, time to sell the boat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Time to sell the boat, man.
You want to get out on the lake today? Might not be a bad idea. Tunica, you've got partly cloudy skies, high of 89, winds out of the northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Bruce, sunny, along with a few clouds today, 89 degrees for you as well, light winds. Leland, Mississippi, generally sunny, 90 degrees, winds north-northeast, 5 to 10. Waynesboro, scattered showers and thunderstorms. 88 degrees, chance of rain, 60%. What was that?
In Leland, Kermit the Frog's hometown.
Yes, sir. Kermit the Frog here.
They do a great Christmas on the creek, too, Deer Creek. Pretty cool little spot.
Yeah.
Beautiful little town.
Sistrunk says, Sardis is rough. I'd rather go to the river any day. Well,
Sardis was rough that day.
Yeah. Sardis can be rough. That was, in fact, when we put in on Sunday afternoon, it was a little choppy, and I was like, all right, here we go. I mean, my kids like to ski a little bit, but mainly they just want to get pulled on a tube, and so unless it's just like white capping, it's really not too rough for that usually. But yes, there have been some rough days on Sardis, but man, Sunday, once we got in the water and kind of got around the bend, it was nice. Like one of the better days that we've had in a few years on the water.
I love the lower lake. I would just go out there and swim all the time. Love that place. It's one of the more unique setups as far as reservoirs go. You got the big res, then you got the campground and this beautiful low-key, no waves, no wake little lake you get to go swim in. Has an island or two out there and houses around it. I love that little spot.
Yeah. C-Spire text line is open, 601-879-4395. Are you guys broadcasting from North Mississippi somewhere? Well, kind of.
50-50 there.
I mean, our network studios, our headquarters are in the state capital. I live in Oxford. I don't think that's a mystery to anybody. And so, yes, I'm in North Mississippi. Why do you ask? I'm curious. Or maybe you were just curious.
Well, they're probably wanting to bring you some goodies or something.
I don't know. Got some birthdays for you today. How about this cat? Feels fairly significant to the lives that we live today. Nicholas Otto, born in 1832. I mean, he passed away in 1891. He was the German engineer who invented the internal combustion engine. Born in Holzhausen, part of the German Confederation. That seems like a fairly significant invention along the way.
Yeah.
Yes?
Kind of using that thing still a little bit.
Yeah. A little. I mean, Elon not so much. The rest of us, kind of still using it. Hattie McDowell was born in 1895, the first African-American actress to win an Oscar. She won it for her role in Gone with the Wind. Hattie McDaniel played Mammy, born in Wichita, Kansas in 1895. 1922, Judy Garland. Oh, what a list for her.
Yeah.
Including The Wizard of Oz, Meet Me in St. Louis, Easter Parade. Not only was she an actress, but also a singer. Over the Rainbow.
Accidental death, too. Man, young lady. At
1969 is when she passed away. What was the? I don't remember.
Barbiturate overdose, poisoning actually.
Oh my!
In England.
Intentional? Or?
No, totally accidental.
Ugh.
Yeah, at least that's the reporting.
60 years old today, and my opinion only, doesn't look it. Actress Elizabeth Hurley, born in 1965.
We could have just started and stopped with that one. Yeah.
English actress from Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery, Christabel, a model as well, born in England, 60 years old. Like, if you didn't know how old Elizabeth Hurley was, and I just showed you a picture of her, how old would you think?
Yeah, 30s. You know.
Yeah.
I love that she was Mimi Rogers' daughter in Austin Powers. That was her mom. And the first, that was her mama. And don't forget Gordie Howe today.
Oh, yeah.
A big one.
The great
Gordie Howe.
Not the great one, but the great Gordie Howe.
The great, yeah. The other one, great one, we know who that is. That's Gretzky. Yeah, today is born on this day.
It was Howe. On this day in 1752 when somebody told Ben Franklin, go fly a kite. And he said, I believe I will, right here in this lightning storm. And I think I'll put a key on the end of it. And you're welcome, friends. Here's some electricity.
You think I always wondered, did he know what he was getting into there? I mean, he had a pretty good idea that he was about to get shocked pretty good or something. And it's just, for the sake of science, we got to do this.
Surely he did some...
Or was it kind of accidental? And like, whoopsie daisy, I just figured out electricity.
I'm sure he pulled out his rubber sole shoes that day.
Yeah. Holy Roman Emperor Frederick I, also known as Frederick Barbarossa, he drowned while crossing the Salif River on his way to the Third Crusade. That was not a good omen, I don't think.
No. We got news headlines for you, but when we come back, are you aware that at one point in history, an American president who was being memorialized at his funeral had a bird that had to be removed? Yeah, you're going to want to know the details. We're back right after this. Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk, Mississippi. That bird outside my window can go away.
Go beyond Super Talk, Mississippi.
Potty mouth bird. Yep. 1845. Andrew Jackson's African gray parrot named Pole was at his funeral, at President Jackson's funeral, and had to be removed for swearing. This was at the Hermitage in Tennessee. Funeral attendee William Menifee Normant records, before the sermon and while the crowd was gathering, a wicked parrot that was a household pet got excited and commenced to swearing so loud and long as to disturb people that he had to be carried from the house.
Yeah. Well,
by the way, what does that tell you about how Andrew Jackson spoke around the house?
Yeah, it was straight out of the dictionary.
Yeah.
Right. That's what you would be thinking, too, when you hear about a parrot that has a swearing problem, even at a funeral of his owner. The owner probably had a swearing problem, I would imagine, as well. And he was a dude to begin with.
Yeah.
Malarial coughs and infected old wounds from duels that had lodged bullets in his lungs and arms. That finally was the thing that brought him down, 1845. But the bird lives in infamy.
Did you go home and watch Hamilton last night?
I did not. I watched the Murray State game. That's as I told you. That was now I'll watch Hamilton tonight to appease the natives. But
I don't believe you.
I will. I'll do it, man. Hamilton. That sounds legit to me. That'd be more my line of musical theater. I have no problem.
It's historical rap.
Yeah, it's historical.
Really.
I'm a historian, man. I love that stuff.
They kind of
take some liberty.
Rap sing the whole thing.
Oh, well, rap sing too. Nice. You got like Colt Ford in there.
It's kind of hard to explain.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to take a look at that.
A lot of talk singing.
Mm-hmm. I could talk sing. I couldn't sing. Yeah. I could do the talk singing, like the what was the one with Wolfman? Wolverine. He did it. Hugh Jackman.
Oh yeah.
He did some talk singing.
He did. That's a talented dude.
Oh, yeah. Goodness.
You can join the conversation this morning on the C Spire text line at 601-879-4395. Every sports fan can tell you fast speeds win games. That's why C Spire brings you fiber home internet, nationwide 5G wireless, and IT solutions that move as fast as your business. Learn more at cspire.com. C Spire, inspired by you. To the previous conversation, the big lakes in North Mississippi are more dangerous than the Mississippi River when the wind is 15 miles per hour or more. As my buddy says, it looks angry.
Yeah, white caps everywhere out there.
I mean, I can attest.
It's deep, too.
Yeah, Sardis can get, if you're not paying attention, Sardis can get scary in a hurry.
I mean, you got the coves, too. You know, those on the south side, those are always really good fishing, crappie fishing. But, yeah, you get out in the big part of the water, that thing's it's like a sea.
Those are also good skiing spots, too.
Yes, yeah, that's where the little soft spots in there. And
yeah.
It's beautiful. Love that area. It's
one of
the cooler lakes, too, because, you know, it drains all the way down to the the river, and then it looks like a desert out there for a few months. And
pretty good spot if you're looking for a place to ride four-wheelers or side-by-sides in the cooler months.
And I go hiking out there. I'd take my dog. We'd walk for hours just picking up this and looking around and find shotgun shells and all kind of netting and stuff. It's like,
couches,
people were here before the couches. You see everything.
Noodling or hand-grabbing boxes. Find a bathtub out there.
There's a couple of old, if I remember, on the Oxford side, there was always a couple of old goose blinds that were out there for a long time.
Okay.
I think they finally cut those things down.
Yeah, I don't know that I've seen those.
Yeah, it was back in the college era. Yeah. That was a few years ago.
Let's see here. Oh, Sistrunk says Adam Sandler is the best talk singer.
He's interesting with his singing. Yeah, he's
pretty good with.
I saw him. Was it 97, 96, 97, or 8, whatever. I don't remember. It all kind of goes together. But
Tad Pad?
He was at the Tad Pad, man. I was at that. That was something.
O.J. Simpson.
Yeah, he was
not a Jew.
Yeah, he was so huge then too. Man.
It was a big deal. Oh, the Hanukkah guy. Oh, goodness. What? Spirit rover launched beginning NASA's Mars exploration rover mission. That was back in 2003, which I guess kind of seems like a long time ago now. All right, here's some news headlines for you. In the Annie E. Casey Foundation's latest Kids Count data book, a 50-state report of data analyzing how children and youth are faring across the nation, Mississippi came in at number 16 among its 49 peers. Each year, the data book presents national and state data from 16 indicators in 4 domains: economic well-being, education, health, and family and community factors, while ranking the states according to how children are faring overall. So Mississippi, in 11 years, has made a 32 ranking spot jump from 48 to 16. Consistently improving rankings in education are based on students' ongoing academic improvement. Statewide graduation rate has gone from 75% to 89%. So the high school graduation in Mississippi is now higher than the national average. Now, look, I'm sure we can cue the text line and somebody's going to tell me, well, they're not counting the scores right, or they're only testing for this, or they're only teaching to. I hear you. Like, I hear what you're saying, but it's almost to the point that I see your lips moving, but I don't hear what's coming out of your mouth. We have scoreboards for a reason. Right? There's a reason we keep score. You pick a winner, you pick a loser. And I'm just done with the conversations about, well, you should look at the way they're teaching and those scores are. I don't care if they're rigged or not. They do this study every single year. Yeah, they do this ranking every single year. And 11 years ago, we were on the hind tit as a state. And guess what? We're not anymore.
Yeah, 34 are behind us now.
We're not sitting number 1, but there's nobody, not one state in these United States of America that has made more, bigger, or better progress in the last 11 years in these rankings and a lot of others. So, to everybody behind that, first and foremost, the teachers and the students who've put in the work, to the principals and superintendents who have done, I know, I said the dirty word, superintendent. I know we got too many school districts. I get it. I get it. For all the faults that exist within the education system, don't be that guy. Just stop and celebrate. Just for a minute, because this is a big deal. It's a big deal. Tate Reeves has pushed this. Phil Bryant before him pushed this. Lance Evans is pushing this as the head of the State Department of Education, as did his predecessors. There are a lot of people that have done a lot of work, a lot of long, hard, laborious work to make this happen. Take a bow, friends. You deserve it. 7 people were arrested in Perry County last week for stealing a collection of copper worth about $3,000.
Now, copper stealing ring. 7 of them.
So the price of copper right now is at $11,500 per metric ton. That's an all-time high, and it's leading to a proliferation of theft for those desiring to resell the wire for a quick profit. This did not go particularly well, though, for these 7 people. According to Pine Belt News, the theft of 560 feet of copper wire from AT&T telephone poles caused severe outages on the night of Sunday, June 1st. More copper was reportedly stolen from multiple other sites the same night. The outage sparked an investigation by the Perry County Sheriff's Department, and they did their job. A day later, 2 suspects were found by a deputy in possession of multiple tubs of burnt wire, leading to multiple arrests. The 7th suspect was taken into custody as well after attempting to sell the stolen wire at the old local scrapyard.
They weren't making Tesla coils. They were trying to resell it. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. Kimberly Holyfield, Troy Poole, Brittany Davis, Timothy Rhymes, Kevin Langley, William Phillip, Caitlin Bruce were the arrestees. Well, at least you got your name read on the radio. Congratulations.
Nice little mugshots.
Hey, by the way, just a thought here. If you're going to jail for stealing copper, why don't you figure out a way to come away with more than about $450 per person involved? At $3,000 worth of copper, they're going to jail over that.
Put that effort to somewhere else, huh?
Yeah. We're back with you right after this.
From the Venable Glass Traffic Center.
Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
My transistor radio comes from far away. And when it's night over here, over there, it's breaking day. I remember all the good times I had walking in the sand.
I'm breaking my own, inside my head rules of order and organization. Like I have a plan on how I want to proceed through the first hour and into the second hour and kind of lay things out. But sometimes you just see things that you need to, you know what, we got to stop and talk about this right now. Lance, we got to stop and talk about this right now.
Let's do it.
Rachel Maddow. I didn't know she was still a thing.
Yeah.
Apparently so. Actually, I didn't know that MSNBC was still a thing. Isn't it going away?
They it's like an old pair of underwear. It'll just evaporate at some point.
Kind of like a cockroach?
Yeah, they just go away.
Okay. Oh, well, one day they will. Okay.
Yeah, it'll just
they have
evaporate, yeah.
Apparently. Because Rachel Maddow still has a microphone in which to speak. And here's what she said. Trump has no idea what to do with the sustained and growing and intractable and indomitable protest and opposition of the American people against him. Game over, big guy. You lose. Oh, really? I mean, I've seen the map with the oversized dots on it that tell me where all the protests are going to happen coming up on Saturday, June the 14th. I've seen it. You know what? I don't think those dots on the old map, Rachel, are sized to scale. I don't think so. You may have a lot of people that protest on Saturday. That's fine. And look, I'm sure that in places like, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Phoenix, Chicago, NYC, and more, I'm sure that some of those protests are going to turn violent. I'm sure. You know what I'm also sure of? The fact that Los Angeles, San Francisco, Phoenix, Chicago, New York City, and others are not representative of the United States of America and what we as a nation believe. It really was pretty fascinating. Really was pretty fascinating to watch CNN yesterday roll out that new poll about how in June of this year, people in the United States think Donald Trump is handling immigration. Did you see that? Numbers look pretty good to me. Look pretty darn good. Let's see. I think I've got it right here. I got to keep scrolling. I saved so many bookmarks yesterday. There it is. Hey, let me play it for you. Actually, I'll just tell you. It's kind of a long clip. Trump's net approval in immigration. In June of 2017. I don't know why that's the point. I'll tell you why that's the point they picked. Because that was the lowest point in terms of how people thought about Trump dealing with immigration. He was at minus 21 points. He's at plus 1 today.
I love going through. I was sifting through the comments under the no ideas, no skills. Maddow rips panicking Trump for rushing the military, and reading some of the comments under, obviously those that support Rachel Maddow's outreach. The one that 4 or 5 down this weekend. My 86-year-old father will be out on the streets protesting for the first time in his life. Wow, now that's a badge of courage.
Yeah. I got no problem with anybody that wants to protest.
No,
it is your First Amendment right. I tend to think that protesting is kind of a waste of time.
But you're protesting what, though? I mean, I guess that's my question.
I get it. And look, I mean, I know there are a lot of people that would be like, oh, Richard, I can't believe you said that. How dare you say protesting is a waste of time? If there hadn't been protesting, we wouldn't have had the civil rights. I get it. I'm not saying that protesting should never happen.
I would have to say that. But I mean, Martin Luther.
Hold on, just for a second. If I have a problem in life, if I disagree with something, my first go-to is not, hey, honey, get out the poster board and the markers. Let's make a sign and we'll go protest. That's going to fix the problem. Maybe go walk in circles around the square and hold the sign above my head. Now, it is your First Amendment right to do that. If that is what you think needs to be done, then God bless you. I'm just kind of the opinion that if there's something that needs to be changed, doggone it, you better tighten up your belt and put on your shoes and go to work and figure out a way to change it. But I know there are different ways to look at the world. I'm sorry, Lance. I just wanted to finish that thought. What were you saying?
Perfect. My point about protests. There are protests that are actually extremely valuable. Look at how the African American community were able to organize around a mission of, they were not treated right. Obviously, the rights were not granted to be.
That's why I mentioned the civil rights movement.
100%. Of the logical people were going, this has got to change. And the nonviolent protests were a way of displaying that solidarity. And I think that's the thing. You don't see this, though. That's not what you're seeing is organized, nonviolent protest trying to actually undo
you have
a
some
wrong.
small towns,
Yeah.
right? You have some small towns that have nonviolent,
But you're
organized.
protesting
here are
over
voice protests.
keeping what? Illegals? People that are here illegally because you say that you're breaking up families. That's the big thing. You're breaking up families. That's the one thing that is the whole protest. You can't do this because you're breaking up families. Well, first of all, the people that are here that you're sending away, a lot of them are criminals, and all of them have broken the law to get here. So we're protesting. It's okay to break the law. But back then you were saying, well, the law's wrong. We've got to fix it. And I think that's where there's a huge difference. I understand protests and in many cases, I think the 60s and that era is probably what you got a lot of folks looking at going, oh, yeah, we can do the same thing. But, it's not. You're not getting the same result. And quite frankly, I don't see the greater point. It just seems like a big street party to go burn people's stuff and riot.
Well, that's the thing. It says it's not protesting, right? It's and somebody did make the point. But, Richard, you say that instead of protesting, you hitch up your belt and go to work. Well, that's what those people are doing. They're hitching up their belt and going to work. They're paid.
There we go.
They are paid to go out and throw rocks and bricks at police cars and, hey, we'll take care of your bail if it's needed, and we'll take care of your legal if it's needed, but it's probably not even going to be needed.
Where are the American people standing up and protesting, saying we don't want a bunch of illegals here and a lot of folks that are committing crimes that shouldn't be here and doing that? Well, they did. They elected Donald Trump. That was the protest. Mm-hmm. That was done organized, legally.
What about when your protest, your voice is your vote?
There you go.
There's a concept. Hey, Buc-ee's opened yesterday on the coast. JT was all fired up to tell you about that. 74,000 square feet, 120 fueling positions, 24 EV charging stations, a lot of great food, and what Cintas Corporation has called the cleanest bathrooms in America. Pass Christian location, open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
Yeah, I have a question. Is there anybody out there that has said, okay, I'm in like North Mississippi or East Texas or what? It opened. I've got to be there. Like, is there anybody that does every Buc-ee's grand opening?
Like, did you road trip from
Yeah,
New Albany
exactly.
to Pass Christian for the opening of
Right,
Buc-ee's?
yeah.
If you did, we'd love to hear from you.
I want to hear about this, yeah.
Delta Soul is this weekend. Hundreds of golfers and good timers will gather in Greenville for the 14th annual Delta Soul Celebrity Golf and Charity event, taking place June 12th, 13th, and 14th at the Greenville Golf and Country Club. This event was founded and is presented by Mississippi musician and ambassador and good friend and colleague Steve Azar. Through the last 13 years of Delta Soul, they have raised over $1.5 million for the St. Cecilia Foundation, which benefits programs such as Camp Looking Glass, Boys and Girls Club of Washington County, and the Delta Music Institute at Delta State. Events created about $40 million in economic impact over the decade. Plus, great stuff.
And I think we need to come out with a line of Steve Azar's own golf apparel. The pants. I mean, yeah.
Nobody would buy that stuff. It's all one of a kind. It's all custom for Azar. I'm going to hold this sea cucumber story for later. This fascinates me. Oh, by the way, UMMC is expanding its footprint with the acquisition of Merit Health in Canton. Announced on Monday, its newest location will immediately begin operating as UMMC Madison plans to acquire the hospital, finalized May 1st. It builds on a relationship that began back in 2019. Canton Hospital has 67 licensed beds, and UMMC's full ownership will integrate the facility more closely into its academic and healthcare system. Doctors from the medical center were staffing the emergency room at Merit Health already. Good stuff there. UMMC continuing to grow. Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk Mississippi. We'll get to some of your messages and a whole lot more.
Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
You've got it locked in. Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk, Mississippi. Thanks for making us part of your morning. We appreciate it very much. Great to be with you. I mean, there are days when I wake up and I'm like, oof, I got to get up and go do this today. And then we get about 10 minutes into it. I'm like, let's go. I'm waking up with you. You're waking up with me. Let's go. Let's go crush the day. Your inspirational thought for the moment, or for the morning. There it is. All right, you heard the music. That means it is lottery update time. MS Lottery is the website, the Mississippi Lottery, producing winners and fun and lots of other stuff. No jackpot winner for Lotto America. So the estimated jackpot for Wednesday's drawing, a little over $2 million. That just recently reset. $920,000 is the cash value. Monday night's numbers were 6, 14, 35, 44, 49. The star ball was 5. The all-star bonus multiplier was 2. Estimated jackpot for Powerball for Wednesday, $65 million. Cash value, $29.2 million. Monday night's numbers, 30, 33, 40, 43, 52. Powerball was 25. Power play multiplier was 4.
That's a little pittance right there. $65 million and $2.05 million. Man, that's going to take a while. But the double play, numbers from Monday, June 9th, 1, 7, 24, 50, 59, Powerball of 11. And something a little more respectable here, Mega Millions. And you don't have a jackpot winner yet. Got a big one for tonight, though, $243 million, $108 million you get to take home. The Friday drawing, 16, 40, 54, 56, 57, Mega Ball of 3.
No Mississippi Match 5 jackpot winner. Tonight it's at $52,000. Monday night's drawing 13, 15, 22, 25, 34. All numbers are unofficial that we give you on the radio until they are certified by the Mississippi Lottery Corporation. I'm not aware of any numbers that haven't been certified, but hey, we got to make sure that it's, all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed.
Well, you cash $3 $500 midday Monday drawing 825, evening drawing 621, cash for $5,000 midday numbers 5622, evening 0352. Fireball was 1 in both the midday and the evening. Cash pop was 3 in the midday and 7 in the evening.
If you want to be a winner in the Mississippi Lottery, Columbus may be where you need to go. Columbus continued its Mississippi Match 5 winning streak when a ticket purchased at Sprint Mart matched all 5 numbers to claim Sunday night's $56,000 jackpot. That was great. But the win came just 5 days after a player in Columbus scored the game's largest jackpot ever, $1.2 million. The ticket purchased at 69 Mart. Nice. With 2 major wins in less than a week, Columbus is quickly becoming a Mississippi Lottery hotspot. Again, $52,000 the jackpot for tonight. The Mississippi Lottery is ending 8 scratch-off games, and they're going out with a bang. Special second chance promotional drawing tied to these games will be awarded. Will award an incredible a little over $1,008,000. Final day to buy or sell these tickets is Tuesday, July 8th, so you got a little over a month remaining. It's 4 $10 scratch-offs. Win it all, cash windfall, Hamilton. My name is Alexander Hamilton. $100,000 cash blitz. And then $5 drawing, cash blast, bonus cash word, moneymaker, and the $1 favorite winner, chicken dinner. If you've got a winning ticket from any of these. Last day to claim your prize is Monday, October 6th, but don't miss the second chance drawing. Got to get those in by Monday, October 6th to have a shot at that $1 million prize. $1 million prizes. Give me some winners.
We had the cash 4 winners. Brandon Player, $845 from Shell and Brandon Mendenhall, man.
I should have said please there.
Oh, no, I like being ordered around. That's great. I love it. $1,350 Mendenhall man won from Discount Tobacco in Mendenhall. Biloxi Player, $2,600 in winnings in Ocean Springs. And Aberdeen woman won $3,600 using 3 tickets from Texaco Jumbos as a tongue twister in Columbus. Players from Decatur and Noxapater each won $5,000. At Love's Travel Stop and Woody's in Noxapater. And then a Laurel woman, $8,324 on a ticket from Circle K store in Sandersville.
There's nothing quite like 10xing your money.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. 10x is great. You know what 10,000x does? Whew. Heat stroke winner, $2 scratch off. A Ridgeland woman on a $2 scratch off won a top prize of $20,000 on a ticket from Ed's Quickie in Florence. Hazelhurst man won $1,500 on a ticket from Sweet Peas 76 in Hazelhurst. That was on a 15X crossword winner, $3 ticket. And then you had a $10 red hot cash winner, a Carthage man, $5,000 on a ticket from Goldie Mart in Carthage.
Don't worry. Hey, don't forget about the big one there, the Columbus man with $56,000 jackpot. Did we hit that one already?
Well, I mean, that was part of the whole Match 5 thing.
Okay, yeah. Well, I was obviously tuned out. My bad.
Well, you know, somebody won $1.2 million, and then somebody won $56,000 5 days later.
Yeah, there we go.
Way to pay attention, buddy.
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, it's all right. Redundancy.
Yes. It happens. It happens.
It happens. It happens. 6 o'clock hour is in the books. We got a lot of news for you. We still owe you some sports news. We'll start things off in the 7 o'clock hour with that and a whole lot more. Madison Drake going to join us this morning from Palmer Home for Children. Henry Barbour, GOP strategist, longtime politico in Mississippi, will be with us at 7:37 this morning. Mornings with Richard Cross. Thanks for joining us.
Like my bro.
South Communications, its management, or advertisers.
Shaping Mississippi politics each morning. Mornings with Richard Cross. Super Talk, Mississippi.
7 o'clock hour. Good morning. Thanks for joining us on Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi. This hour of mornings is brought to you by MWG Employer Services. Running a business is tough, and if you're struggling with HR, benefits, and payroll, you're not alone. That's where MWG Employer Services comes in. They can provide a full range of employer services plus a custom plan that fits you. Call them today at 601-206-7966 or go to mwgemployerservices.com. A little late on the sports update this morning, and it's kind of a brief one, but our sports update is brought to you by Pearl River Resort. Visit them online at pearlriverresort.com, your destination for casino thrills, family fun, and live entertainment. That's Pearl River Resort. So we can start with the fact that the College World Series field is now set. Last night, Luke Mistoni hit a go-ahead home run in the 8th inning. Graham Kellum was solid in another long relief appearance, and Murray State beat Duke 5-4 in a winner-take-all championship game at the Durham Super Regional to advance to the first-ever College World Series for the Racers of Murray State. They're now 44-15 on the year. They became just the number 4 seed to advance to Omaha for the College World Series. Duke was trying to get there for the first time since 1961. Jonathan Hogart had a big night for Murray State, hit a couple of home runs, 21 now on the year. And that takes us to the matchups in the College World Series. It gets started on Friday. The early game on Friday will feature the number 13 seed Coastal Carolina against Arizona. Then you've got the number 8 seed Oregon State taking on Louisville. On Saturday, on the other side of the bracket, you've got the number 15 seed UCLA taking on Murray State. And then, what a marquee matchup on Saturday night. Number 3 seed Arkansas, number 6 seed LSU. That game on ESPN at 6 o'clock on Saturday night.
Was that going to be Root versus Anderson, you think?
Yes, that is what I imagine the pitching matchup will be. Should be a good one. 2 teams from the SEC, 1 from the Sun Belt, 1 from the Big 12, 1 from the ACC, 1 from the Big 10, 1 from the Missouri Valley, and 1 independent. So last year you had 4 from the SEC and 4 from the ACC. It is much more spread out this year, and, you only got 8 teams there, so nothing like having 2 from the SEC playing each other. So
you also got 3 former Pac whatever teams. Right now they're all spread out, UCLA, Arizona, and Oregon State.
Yeah, that's right. 1 is a Big 12, 1 is a Big Tenner, and 1 is an independent now. That's exactly right. How about this note? No team that made the College World Series last year is in it this year.
Mm-hmm.
A change in the NFL. Jim Irsay's daughters will now run the Indianapolis Colts. In accordance with their father's wishes, Irsay's 3 daughters have assumed co-ownership of the team, each getting respective roles within the franchise. The oldest daughter, Carly Irsay Gordon, will assume the role of owner and CEO. She's been designated the principal owner. Casey Foyt will be the owner and executive vice president, while the youngest sister, Kaylin Jackson, will be the owner and chief brand officer. Jackson will also be president of the Colts Foundation. Jim Irsay died back in May at the age of 65, had served as principal owner of the Colts since his father's death in 1997. The Irsay family has had the franchise since 1972. It's one of the longest sustained ownership periods in NFL history. Irsay's daughters have all worked in the franchise in various capacities through the years. When Jim Irsay took control of the team, he made his intentions clear from the very beginning. He said, we're keeping 100% of the team, and I'm passing it on to my children. Very cool.
That's very cool. I have an NFL question for you. Since we have a lot of Cowboy fans, do you think Schottenheimer will make a big difference with the Cowboys this season? As far as
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just curious. I don't
Jerry
follow.
Jones still the owner.
Yeah, good point. Yeah,
and general manager.
Yeah.
So Vaught Hemingway is going to be packed again this year. Ole Miss football announced a sellout of reserved seat season tickets for the 2nd straight season. It's the 8th time in modern Ole Miss football history that the season has sold out, and the earliest that I remember that being announced. So we're early June and sold out. Also, and to some, this is probably a more important note, Ole Miss has sold out of all on-campus parking passes. So, plan accordingly if you're coming to Oxford this fall for a football game. So, there you go. Those are your sports headlines brought to you by Pearl River Resort, your destination for casino thrills, family fun, and live entertainment. Pearl River Resort, online at pearlriverresort.com. You're listening to Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi. Glad to be with you. Did you know that the protests, demonstrations, riots, whatever you want to call them in Los Angeles, didn't actually start about for the reason that most people are telling you that it started? It wasn't immigration raids that actually got this thing going. Donald Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, revealed that the raids that sparked the L.A. riots were not for immigration purposes. He explained that the raids that took place in downtown Los Angeles on Friday were part of a criminal investigation into a money laundering scheme and cartel activity. It wasn't an immigration raid. It was to service of 3 criminal warrants at locations based on a large criminal conspiracy that ICE is investigating. Tom Homan said that to our friends at MSNBC. Some call it MSDNC, but, you know.
I kind of figured it was just, like I was telling you, maybe it's a bunch of folks needing to test out their Babbel subscription. Get out there and raise some cane. But, yeah, I mean, it's such a weird setup. I mean, you go in to try to get rid of lawbreakers, and then all of a sudden you got a riot break out.
Yeah.
And the way
there were immigration arrests, but that's not what the initial reason for the raids was. The L.A. raids involved ICE targeting businesses like Ambience Apparel with 44 immigration-related arrests and 1 obstruction charge. Tom Homan stated they focused on money laundering and cartel activity, not immigration, tied to a firm under-declaring $80 million in goods Public perception centered on immigration, sparking the riots, while officials emphasized criminal probes. So a dual-nature investigation causing confusion, unrest, and leading to a lot of property damage. You know, Adam Carolla, funny guy Adam Carolla, he said this: in Los Angeles, if you smoke on the beach, you will be arrested, but you are allowed to light a Waymo on fire. Not arrested for that. Those are the driverless cars.
Yeah, those things melted down. The only thing that actually was remaining were the wheels. If you looked at all of the ones that were burned, I mean, it was burned to the ground, man. I was like, wow. I mean, the whole thing melted.
You know, illegal immigration and enforcement of that activity really isn't a new thing. May I point you to former President Barack Obama?
If you're a criminal, you'll be deported. If you plan to enter the U.S. illegally, your chances of getting caught and sent back just went up. The actions I'm taking are not only lawful, they're the kinds of actions taken by every single Republican president and every single Democratic president for the past half century.
His words, not mine. But when Bad Man Orange does it, whoo, different story then. Different story then. What else? Oh, Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, with an explanation on why we are where we are right now in the Los Angeles protest. It really is not the fault of Angelenos. It's the fault of, well, others.
I just have to say that if you dial back time and go to Friday, if immigration raids had not happened here, we would not have the disorder that went on last night. I will tell you that it is peaceful now, but we do not know where and when the next raids will be. That is the concern, because people in the city have a rapid response network. If they see ICE, they go out and they protest. And so it's just a recipe for pandemonium that is completely unnecessary. Nothing was happening here. Los Angeles was peaceful before Friday.
Said differently, if immigration laws had not been broken and money laundering had not been happening and cartels had not been involved, there might still be peace in Los Angeles. There's one guy in particular that was letting people know where ICE agents were, and he has had a bit of an about face. We'll tell you about that when we come back.
This is where is on the SuperTalk app.
Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk, Mississippi. Glad to be spending some time with you today. On Friday, in a Mississippi Minute with Steve Azar and Sports Talk Mississippi, we'll be at the Greenville Country Club for the Delta Soul Celebrity Golf and Charity event. Tons of celebrities on hand, actors, musicians, sports stars. It's the Delta Soul Celebrity Golf and Charity event in Greenville on Friday. So Azar's show will be there, and Michael Borky and I will be there for Sports Talk Mississippi on Friday afternoon. Really, really fun event. It just is. We've had a ton of fun with that, a lot. You can join the conversation on the C Spire text line, 601-879-4395. You are, I would guess, familiar with the term doxing. It's not a term that was all over the place in the mid-'90s or even late '90s, in the early days and adoption of the internet, with it being as mainstream. But doxing is when a person is posting content online anonymously, and some intrepid scourer of the internet figures out who that person actually is, and they put them out on Front Street. Right? Hey, Hey, let's see here. Sunshine Lance 62, 68, 69 is actually Lance Tolbert from...
How did you guess?
The Jackson metro area. Works at SuperTalk, Mississippi. Played college baseball. You know, just puts all his information out there. So that's one form of doxing. And then there is a different form of doxing that is far more nefarious and is far more dangerous. And it's the type of doxing that L.A. Scanner put on X while ICE raids were happening. This was doxing where he was identifying where law enforcement agents were moving and were headed to give people a heads up, and it has led to a lot of danger, injury. I don't think to this point it has led to loss of life, but that's just a convenient accident. LA Scanner is an account that became very, very popular during the Los Angeles County wildfires a few months ago. And he was actually providing good information. He was letting people know where the fires were happening, how they were spreading, where fire trucks were, where police officers were, and was really getting good information out. But with that came a larger online persona and, I guess, a larger degree of perceived self-importance. So LA Scanner on Friday was making posts about where ICE raids were happening. And yesterday, LA Scanner realized that he had stepped in something really smelly. And he felt the need to post this. Listen to this. I want to issue a formal apology. I should not have posted the locations of ICE raids, and I will no longer do so. I've contacted the authorities to take responsibility, and they are currently reviewing my account to determine if any laws were broken. If it's found that I have violated the law, I will cooperate fully and turn myself in. To those targeting my family, please, I'm begging you to stop. They have done nothing wrong and do not deserve to be dragged into this. The anger should be directed at me, not them. Someone has already come to my home, pounding on my door and demanding to confront me. This has gone too far. To anyone I may have put at risk, I sincerely apologize. That was never my intention. Thanks for the apology. But tell me, what exactly was your intention? To boost your online cred? To have a better XQ score? To make yourself feel good about what you believe is right or wrong by endangering the lives of federal law enforcement officers? Now, I feel bad for the guy that his family's been targeted. But did he feel bad for the families of the ICE agents that he put in danger?
And he could have thought about that beforehand, you know. So hindsight's always 20/20, isn't it? Crystal clear. Oopsie daisies.
Let me read those first couple of sentences again. I want to issue a formal apology. I should not have posted the locations of ICE raids, and I will no longer do so. Well, thanks, Captain Obvious. Thanks. He was using information that he was gathering through monitoring scanners and police communication to post the locations of ICE raids so that protesters could swarm the areas and go after federal law enforcement officers. Think about that. Hey, just wanted to give you a heads up. ICE is about to raid 2226 Main Street. What do you think the result was going to be? in this climate.
He was hoping to be a hero, and when that didn't happen, oopsie daisy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and awfully nice of him to let us know that he's contacted the authorities to take responsibility. Well, why did you do that? Because he was doxxed. After all of the doxing that he was doing, putting federal law enforcement officials and officers in danger, somebody figured out who the heck he was and put his information out there for the whole world to see. And then, so kind of him to contact authorities and take responsibility as if they weren't going to find you themselves. I mean, maybe you saved him 20 minutes. Thanks, pal. Good gracious. That's where we are. And then sometimes you're surprised, although I don't even know if we should be surprised at this point when we see something like this from John Fetterman. I mean, Democrats have decided that they hate this guy, the senator from Pennsylvania, who is an independent thinker. Now, some of this, by the way, for John Fetterman, I kind of think is it's of convenience. But I also think that John Fetterman just says what's on his mind. He posted the now iconic picture where you have two cars in the foreground on fire, billowing gray and black smoke, along with hot orange flames coming out of those two cars. And on the third car in the line, you have a shirtless man with his back to the camera frame standing on the roof of a car that has been graffitied and the windows have been busted up, holding above his head a Mexican flag. That's the picture in the post. And Fetterman says, I unapologetically stand for free speech, peaceful demonstrations, and immigrations. But this is not that. This is anarchy and true chaos. My party, the Democrat Party, loses the moral high ground when we refuse to condemn setting cars on fire, destroying buildings, and assaulting law enforcement. So whatever the reason for John Fetterman posting this, whether it's just that he had a moral epiphany, he is doing he's doing just what he thinks is right, he felt it necessary to say this or not, whatever the reason, I applaud John Fetterman for saying this. Now, Fetterman's one of those guys who stands up for the things that he thinks are wrong about his party. And yet he remains part of the party that over and over and over engages in these unlawful acts. Burning cars, destroying buildings, assaulting law enforcement, anarchy, true chaos, his words. So, while I appreciate the recognition that it's wrong, I'm left scratching my head a little bit. Like, John, how many times do you have to point out things that are egregiously wrong with your party while staying a member of your party? It's like it rings a little hollow. And again, kudos to him for stating the obvious. Kudos for him for being willing to say what political leaders in California are not willing to say. They say peaceful protests. He says it's a disaster and it's anarchy. So make a change, John.
From the Venable Glass.
Start your day right. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
Thanks for being with us Tuesday morning, the 10th of June. Glad to have you along for the ride on Mornings with Richard Cross right here on SuperTalk, Mississippi. And happy to welcome our first guest this morning, My friend Henry Barbour, GOP strategist, longtime politico here in the state of Mississippi and Washington, D.C. He knows the ins and outs. Henry, it's been a while. Good morning. Thanks for joining me.
Hold on just a second. Let me see what's going on with the phone
line. We might try that one more time with Henry Barbour as we check in on kind of the temperature of both Washington, D.C. and what's happening here at the state level with Henry. Think we're good now, or?
I don't know what's going on here. I'm going to have to call him back and try another line. Hold on. Give me a second.
We're going to try one more time with Henry Barbour. You can join the conversation on the C Spire text line, 601-879-4395. Your team has you covered on the field. C Spire has you covered everywhere else with the best technology for home, work, and on the go, backed by local 24/7 customer support. Learn more at cspire.com. C Spire, inspired by you. We're talking a lot right now about what's happening in Los Angeles and how it affects us. You know, there's not direct impact right now, but, man, you look around, and one of the things that I think is concerning is whether or not this is going to remain isolated to Southern California, remain isolated to Los Angeles. Yes, the rioting has happened, and when you have rioting, you also have looting. And it's interesting. Some of the first stores that are always targeted are sports apparel stores. We've seen both Nike and Adidas stores and electronic stores. And there's video online of Apple stores in L.A. being broken into as well. And that is how you protest your displeasure with ICE. Let's check in. Try again. Henry Barbour joins us. Henry, you got us now?
Man, I don't know what's going on with our phone line. He's on the phone. I just cannot seem to get it from whatever happened yesterday. We may have a little situation here. I'm going to keep trying, though.
All right. Sounds good. We had a massive power outage yesterday that knocked everything in our network studios offline. We were in the middle of SuperTalk Mississippi yesterday afternoon, and like the radio world just came to an end. It just ended abruptly, and a lot of you sent messages to us wondering if it was you. No, it's not you. It's me. That is our stance right now. So hopefully we can get connected with Henry. But I guess what I was saying a second ago is the biggest concern that I see right now, when you think back to 2020, Summer of Love, people tongue-in-cheek called it that, when you had the riots that started in Minnesota and then spread across the country, and the butterfly effect, but also the copycat effect that was in place. You know, it's one thing, not a good thing, but it's a thing when there is something that happens at a local level and people locally are outraged and they feel the need to protest, and then those protests turn into opportunistic events for professional disruptors. And we got all the evidence we needed yesterday that it is indeed professional disruption that is happening with the distribution of face shields, and they had those available and ready in bulk. We're going to try one more time with Henry Barbour, GOP strategist and longtime guest here. Good morning, Henry.
Man, I don't know what's going on.
Strike three,
Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
We are out.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
If Henry, you can hear us, my apologies for the technical issues that we are having, and we will hopefully talk to you soon. So, not sure what's going on there. That is well beyond my pay grade.
I think it may be beyond mine at this point.
Yeah, okay. Having trouble connecting, though, the phone lines and making everything work. So, appreciate Henry's patience this morning. So, you have these opportunistic they're professional insurrectionists. That's what they are. And you've seen the map floating around of June 14th, which, by the way, Saturday, June 14th, is Flag Day. And I guess symbolic. that you will see people shredding the American flag and burning the American flag and waving Mexican flags all over the place. That's going to happen on Saturday, and to me, that's the biggest concern that we're dealing with right now. Okay, as bad as the situation is in Los Angeles for now, it is it's still isolated to Los Angeles. But what if we start having these demonstrations that turn into violent riots and looting all across the country? What happens then? Property is damaged, small business owners are hurt, insurance rates go up. There's your butterfly effect. And this nationwide mobilization that we're talking about that is scheduled for Saturday is called No King's Day, coming up on June 14th. Apparently we fouled off that last pitch, and maybe we got one more chance with him.
Yeah, I fouled it off. I figured out something, so let's do it.
Henry, good morning.
Richard, hey, man.
Sorry that was more difficult than it should be.
No. I'm glad to join you. There's crazy things going on around the country, and I'm down in Pascagoula this morning on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and they've had a nice rain. They got a lot going on, a lot of industrial stuff here in Pascagoula, a lot of jobs.
A lot of good stuff that's happening there, and
No, that's right. They're building the ships that'll, help bring national security to our country right here in Jackson County. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
It really is. And I mean, I think, Henry, that's one of the things that you and I may have talked about when Roger Wicker became chair of the Armed Services Committee. There were a lot of people that said, hey, this has a chance to be really good for Mississippi. We have seen Donald Trump over the last few months say, hey, we're going to rebuild our military fleet. What's the ripple effect going to look like for Mississippi in the coming years as a result of some of these leadership pieces falling into place?
Yeah, there's no doubt with Senator Roger Wicker, being the chairman of the Armed Services Committee, that it's number one, it's a good thing for the country because Roger is serious about national security and keeping our country safe. But it's also good for Mississippi because it does give opportunities for people who are knocking on Roger's door, and they want to build part of the military infrastructure. And like I said, here we are sitting in Pascagoula, Ingalls, which has been building ships for the military for decades, is right here. And I can assure you that Senator Wicker is making sure that Mississippi has every opportunity to build whether it's ships or stuff for the Air Force or whatever, that we have an opportunity to do that here in Mississippi. And so we've been fortunate. I mean, here we are in Pascagoula, home at Trent Lott, and Senator Lott, Senator Cochran, Senator Stennis before them. I mean, we've had a long history of strong leadership of Mississippians in Congress, and that's provided a lot of opportunities, economic opportunities for the state. And Senator Wicker is just sort of the next in line, following that, people like that, and doing good for the country, but also doing good for Mississippi and economic growth.
We've seen so much growth economically in Mississippi over the last year. Governor Tate Reeves has made that his priority. One of the things, Henry, that has been discussed is the three coast counties in Mississippi kind of coming together. And obviously they've got things to focus on individually as counties. But Ricky Matthews, our colleague here at SuperTalk, has written extensively about this, that the three counties working together on the economic development front could be a complete game changer. I've talked to leaders. Hugh Keating, most recently elected in Gulfport, said, we want to try and work together. What does that look like? We've only got 30 seconds to the break. If you've got time, we'll hold you over into the next segment as well.
Yeah, well, it really is important that regions cooperate and work together. And if you look at, Hancock County, you got the Stennis Space Center, and you got Port in Harrison County, they're in Gulfport, and of course, all the shipbuilding. You got Chevron here, their largest refinery in the country, in Jackson County. So working together and under the leadership of Tate Reeves is kind of, Tate Reeves has been as hot as the Murray State baseball team as far as economic development goes.
He certainly has. It's been one big announcement after another. We'll finish up the conversation with Henry Barbour on the other side of this break. It's Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk Mississippi. We're back with you right after this.
This is Trust Care for your urgent and primary care. You win. Trust Care clinics are staffed by friendly, experienced providers and open late. Walk in today or schedule your appointment at trustcarehealth.com. Trust Care. Feel better, faster.
We're back with you, wrapping up the 7 o'clock hour of Mornings with Richard Cross. Henry Barbour is my guest. Appreciate, Henry, your patience with the technical issues and hanging with us for a couple of more minutes. We were talking about economic development on the coast. That's where you are today. I would like to switch gears just for a second. You mentioned earlier the craziness that we've got happening all over, especially in California right now. And before you came on, I was talking about maybe the biggest concern for me is the copycat effect or the butterfly effect about this protest turning into riots and insurrection and looting and vandalism. How concerned are you about this spreading beyond just Los Angeles County into other big cities across the country?
Well, certainly the more the media focuses on it, the more it's a thing, and the greater the risk of things spreading, and so that it's a concern. I don't know enough to have any particular opinion about whether it is or it isn't, but I think any American can know. This is just not good. And why are Democrats? And, Gavin Newsom, the mayor of L.A. that's got issues, it seems to me. I don't understand how you don't just sort of stand on the side of law. And, we want people to be respectful. We want them to obey the law. We want people to come into our country legally. And if you don't come in illegally and you do break the law, that, there's police and you're going immigration folks, and they're going to send you back, where you came from. All of that's reasonable, and I think it's part of the reason that Donald Trump got elected, and it's part of the reason that Kamala Harris lost. And Democrats just they seem out of touch with just regular things, and people want to be safe, Richard, and it's pretty much that simple.
It certainly is, and one of the things that has continued to strike me since Donald Trump was elected president is he is doing the things that he campaigned on. And one of the biggest issues was illegal immigration, and he said we're going to get rid of the folks that are here illegally, we're going to make America safer, and we're going to get violent criminals off the streets that are illegal immigrants. And all he's done is do exactly what he said he was going to do, and it's people are like, oh, I can't believe he's doing this. Well,
we do want to be safe. I will say, I think most Mississippians, I think most people from California, they don't want the federal government bringing in troops. Nobody wants that. That's not a good precedent, and so I don't want to be just reflexive that everything Trump does is great.
I understand.
This is not the path that as Americans we want to get used to. Federal troops coming in. This has got to be the exception, and we certainly don't want that to grow. But we want to look at city leaders, whether they're in Mississippi or Oregon or California, and that they're going to keep people safe, and that if people are traveling there, they can know that it's a relatively safe town, and that there are prosecutors who go after criminals, and that's part of I think the Democrats wokeness or whatever they've gotten out of whack, I think, with most Americans on just basically, hey, we want to be safe. Hey, Richard, can I just totally pivot to something cool that's going on this week that most people don't know about?
We got 2 minutes until the break. Let's do it.
Yeah, and so the Ole Miss track and field team, led by Coach Connie Price, who's track and field Hall of Famer, both as a coach and an athlete, she's leading the largest contingency of the men's team, the Ole Miss men's team, out to Hayward Field in Oregon, starting tomorrow through this weekend for the national championship in track and field. And I think it's pretty exciting. We've got a kid from Fulton, Mississippi, who has a chance to be the national champion high jumper, Arvesta Trope, who jumps 7'5". There's a guy named Tarek Robinson O'Hagan, who is big as a truck, strong as a truck, who does the shot put and the hammer, and 3 of his teammates on the hammer, all qualified for the national meet, which is really impressive. And so Ole Miss track and field, for not a lot of money, is putting up serious results. They came third in the SEC. They got champions as a kid from Australia, Toby Gillen, in the 5K. And just want to give a little shout out to the Ole Miss track and field team for what they're accomplishing and what they'll be taking on out in Oregon, in Eugene,
that's
starting
fantastic.
tomorrow.
Yeah, we've seen Olympic medalists that have emerged from the Ole Miss track and field program, and we've seen national champions. And if you've never watched any of that event, Hayward Field, historic site. It's where Steve Prefontaine kind of carved his name into history, and it really is an incredible event. Appreciate you bringing that up. Henry, thanks so much for your time. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks, Richard. Take care.
Henry Barbour joining us this morning. It's Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Mornings with Richard Cross here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Let's try that one more time. Welcome again. Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk Mississippi. Glad to be with you and would love to hear from you. You can join the conversation on the C Spire text line. A lot of interaction that you have had this morning. We'll try to get to some of your messages. 601-879-4395. In sports and business, having the right team behind you matters. Partner with C Spire today for business solutions from dedicated, certified IT engineers. Learn more at cspire.com. C Spire, inspired by you. You know that it is getting close to that time of year. You know what that time of year is at SuperTalk Mississippi? It's Radiothon. Palmer Home for Children Radiothon. That is coming up on July 10th, and we are already thinking about it and hope you will as well. We'll talk a little bit more about that and the other things that are happening at Palmer Home. Madison Drake joins us this morning. Madison, good morning.
Good morning, Richard. Thank you so much for having us today.
Absolutely. Always good to see you and good to catch up and learn about the things that are happening. You're Director of Development for Northeast Mississippi and Alabama, and it's interesting to me, first of all, that the footprint is growing, that this is not just a Mississippi thing, but there are people that are in other states that are seeing the powerful work that's happening at Palmer Home.
Oh, absolutely. We've really expanded our service lines over the last 15 years or so. So I would say we've grown into more of what we do serves a much larger region through our family care program. They serve newborns of incarcerated mothers. This actually came to us because we took over a nonprofit that's based out of Nashville, and we work with mothers of incarcerated newborns and basically work to find them foster families who kind of work as almost in a grandparent type role, if you will. And so that's something that, we are doing in Tennessee, and we'd like to kind of bring that into the state of Mississippi. So that's one thing that is pretty exciting for us. That's one way that we've expanded. But of course, our roots are right here in Mississippi. We started right in Columbus, and right now our campus is located in Hernando. So that footprint really is Mississippi being the heart of our home.
This is a fun time of year. We always have the opportunity to see what's happening at Palmer Home during the summer, and it feels like all fun. The school year is like normal for other kids, but I know all the kids at Palmer Home, they get excited about the summer, their trips, their camps, their sports activities, and there's a little bit of time for them to unplug as well.
Oh, absolutely. And it was 3 Fridays ago we call it our awards day, and it's an awards day just as you would imagine at any school, but we do this for our children on campus at Palmer Home. And let me tell you, it is one of the most fun days that we have throughout the season, because not only are we celebrating our graduates, which we had quite a few this year. We had a wonderful graduation rate. We actually had 5 high school and college graduates, but we're able to honor our children who really went above and beyond. Some of the kids who come to us, they may come to us a few grades behind where they're supposed to be, and these are kids who have worked extremely hard to overcome this difference, and now they're earning A's, B's, maybe even straight A's. And so this is an opportunity for us to honor them, make them feel so great about themselves, and just really know the hard work and what they've overcome to achieve those goals, and just to celebrate and get ready for summer. And like you said, summertime is so much fun on campus at Palmer Home. We actually just had a group get back last week from what we call On River Time. We partner with another nonprofit, and we have a group of kids ages 12 to 18. Drake Bassett, our CEO, he goes alongside with them, and they go to Irwin, Idaho, and they are able to take a fishing trip down the Snake River for a week. And I mean, a really incredible opportunity. I mean, I'd love to do that myself.
Yeah, why am I not surprised that that Drake says, "Hey, I'm going to go along for this one. I want to make sure that these kids are getting the full experience. We're going to go to Idaho and go fishing." That sounds right up his alley.
What an experience, though. It's just something that our children really look forward to, though, and just something that, an opportunity that they're all really excited to kick off their summer with that. And, they finish awards day. They've studied hard. Many have graduated. Many are going to college, some may be going in the military. Some may be going to trade school, you name it. And and some are just, trying to get to 4th or 5th grade and doing the best they can. And this is such a fun opportunity for them, and not to mention just the usual, swimming on campus, fishing on campus. We've got canoes everywhere. There's so much to do on and off campus, and we're so excited that we can provide those opportunities to these children.
Madison, how long have you been at Palmer Home now?
I've been at Palmer Home for almost 2 years, so I'm new as far as these things go. But I've actually been affiliated with Palmer Home both as a volunteer and through different ways my whole life, as long as I can remember. And Palmer Home's been around for 130 years. We just celebrated our 130th anniversary, so it's one of the just a staple nonprofit in my life, a charitable organization that has been here and has served so many children that I feel like everybody in Mississippi at least has some connection or some affiliation with Palmer Home over the years, and I'm one of those people.
Yeah, and that's actually what I wanted to get at. So when we started Radiothon, and I guess this is year 13.
I actually have 13. I think it started in 2012.
So this is year 13, and I've admitted many times I didn't know anything about Palmer Home. I mean, it was based in Columbus. It was 2 hours from my driveway, and yet I didn't know anything about it. Obviously, it's changed for me, but I feel like it's changed for a lot of people across Mississippi, and maybe Radiothon has some to do with that, but some of it is with the efforts from the staff there as well. Do you feel like there is more recognition and name ID for Palmer Home than maybe there was a decade ago?
Absolutely, I think so. And I know some of that has to do with as we started in Columbus, and that really was the heart of our home, because that's where everything Palmer Home began, and we're so thankful for those roots. Well, we've been able to maintain that support, and thankfully our friends in East Mississippi and the Golden Triangle have continued to support our growth, but they also recognize the need for growth. And that opportunity is where we went we were able to move to our current campus in Hernando. And I think that a big part, and SuperTalk is I meet with a lot of people every week, and SuperTalk is the number one reason that people who, say, from the Delta or somebody who was completely unfamiliar with Palmer Home in the past, 9 times out of 10, that's going to be the reason that they give me, that they were able to hear about Palmer Home, learn more. And I think this is really neat just from Radiothon alone. In the last 12 years since Radiothon started, we have raised $3,110,434. That's what SuperTalk support for Palmer Home has been able to do for our children. And so we can't express our gratitude both in that support and just getting our name out there. It's beyond what we could have ever imagined.
So Radiothon is a special day, and it's an opportunity for people across the state of Mississippi to give. And as you just illustrated, people have been so incredibly generous over the last decade plus with that. But part of your job as director of development is not just one-day giving or impulsive giving, which is so incredibly great, but more planned giving, estate planning, making part of what you individually do philanthropically, making that an ongoing thing. So how is that working, and what do people need to do if maybe they're looking to expand their philanthropic giving?
Absolutely. And that's such a wonderful question that so many people don't. It seems, the obvious gift is to make a gift that day, but a lot of times we have people who want to work with their accountants, work with their, be help with their wealth management and make a more strategic plan as they're giving. And that's kind of where we come in to help as development officers. We're able to kind of help you work with the people, the professionals that you work with to plan these gifts. And we can work with you. I know we've talked in the past about Children's Promise Act and tax credits that you can get through the state, where if you own a business or as an individual, you can make a donation and receive a tax credit through various charitable organizations. The way you can do that through the Department of Revenue, through the state of Mississippi. It's a really amazing program. That's one way. You can also, of course, with estate planning and things such as that, we can always work with you, sit down and kind of make that easier for you so that moving forward you can be more strategic in that planned giving effort. But that's kind of where we work, is to make that easy, but ultimately to benefit the children of Palmer Home and to make sure that legacy gift sustains us for 130 more years.
Madison, it's great catching up with you. If you want to talk to Madison or somebody else in the development department, easiest way is just to go to the website, palmerhome.org. You can find their contact information. Look forward to seeing you in a month. Thanks so much.
Yes. Thank you so much, Richard. We appreciate it so very much.
Madison Drake, she's Director of Development at Palmer Home for Children for Northeast Mississippi and Alabama. 1 month from today, we will be on campus for the annual Palmer Home for Children Radiothon on SuperTalk Mississippi.
From the Venable Glass Traffic.
You're starting your day off right. Mornings with Richard Cross. SuperTalk Mississippi.
I love when there is a real connection with listeners, and sometimes we get those on the C Spire text line, 601-879-4395. That's the number for you to connect with us, to be part of the conversation. And immediately after that conversation with Madison, Drake from Palmer Home, we got this message. My mom and dad were raised at Palmer Home. That's where they met as children and later married. I'm so thankful for this organization. And one, thank you for sharing, first of all. And two, what a great story. And you want to talk about the power of restoration and of raising children out of unimaginably bad circumstances and putting them onto a path for success in life. How about that? Kids that were brought into Palmer Home, were raised there, became friends, later married, and now have children of their own who have grown up and are productive citizens. I mean, it's gosh, as good a family tree story as you'll ever hear. Thanks for sharing that this morning. You can join us just like that texter did on the C Spire text line. Got another text yesterday afternoon that I'd love to share with you. So this is not nearly as serious. This one's fun. We have a listener in Texas, Houston, Texas. And he sent us a message a few weeks ago because he's heard us talking about Belk Ford and Oxford Toyota. They're located on Highway 6 West in Oxford. And they've got a great selection on the lot. And they've got an incredibly easy-to-work-with sales staff. And John in Houston sent us a message and said, hey, I'm thinking about getting a truck. And by the way, that's Houston, Texas, not Houston, Mississippi. Regular listener, has a son that is a student at Ole Miss and who is got a research project this summer. And John in Houston said it was just about time for him to get a new vehicle. He was bringing his car to his son in Oxford this summer so that his son would have a vehicle while he was here working. And he said, I was just planning to fly home, but I need to get a new vehicle anyway. That feels like as good a time as any. Tell me about your friends at Belk Ford. And so I connected John with the sales staff there. And John sent us a message yesterday that said he's coming to Oxford next Thursday, bringing his car to his son, and he's going to be driving home in an F-150 Raptor that Belk Ford found for him, exactly the vehicle that he was looking for. And he's going to drive back to Texas in that. What a good ride that'll be, Lance. Those Raptors are sweet.
Raptors are sweet anyway.
Oh, yeah, they are.
He'll be testing it out on there. That's a nice little way to break in your vehicle.
No doubt.
Hit the open road, man. Get out and drive from Oxford to Texas. Yeah.
There you go. John's story can be your story as well. You don't have to be in Houston, Texas. You can be anywhere in the United States, anywhere in Mississippi. You don't even have to live close to Oxford, as John obviously does not. And they'll take care of you. And if they don't have the vehicle on the lot today that is exactly the one you're looking for, right? People have different ways they buy cars. Some people are like, let me go see what you've got. I like that one. That'll work. And then there are others who are like, this is exactly what I want. This is the color. This is the model. This is the make. This is the features and the accessories that I want. And you can call Belk Ford or Oxford Toyota and tell them exactly what you're looking for, and they'll go find it for you. And then they will get you in it with the best financing that you'll find anywhere. Belk Ford, Oxford Toyota, Highway 6 West in Oxford. There's a better way at Belk. Richard Cross, Lance Tolbert, thanks again to Madison Drake from Palmer Home for joining us. I think in the back of my mind I knew the number somewhere. I knew close to what the number was. But to hear her say out loud that over the last 12 years, you, across the state of Mississippi, across our listening audience, have donated over $3 million to the work that is happening at Palmer Home for Children. We are the conduit, right? This is something that happened a long time ago through relationships. And SuperTalk was looking for the opportunity to partner with a Mississippi organization that we as a company believed was the right fit for us as a company, but also for our audience. And Palmer Home fit like a glove. We learned as a company more about Palmer Home through relationships that existed. Craig Ray was instrumental in that. Others were as well. And that relationship has grown between us and between them, but I feel like we have been the conduit, and this is not patting us on the back. That's not how I mean this at all. But I feel like good work has happened because of our ability to connect and educate the entire state about the work that's happening at Palmer Home. 130 years. And you're going to hear more about the story a month from today when we have the 13th annual Palmer Home for Children Radiothon. Everything else, by the way, took a break in 2020. Radiothon did not. It was different. It looked different and felt different that year, but we didn't stop. And the thing that I hope you have heard over and over and over is that Palmer Home operates exclusively through private donations. There is no state funding. There is no federal funding. Now, there are federal programs that Palmer Home takes advantage of for you, like the tax credit through the state of Mississippi that Madison was taken of. But in terms of direct contribution, none of that comes from the state, and none of that comes from the federal government. And that allows them to operate the Christian, nurturing, whole child initiative environment that they operate. And it is truly one of the most special days of the year for all of us at SuperTalk. Can't wait to be there. Can't wait to share that day with you. And I would encourage you to do some thinking, to do some discussing with your husband or your wife, and maybe to do a little bit of planning. Because sometimes Palmer Home Radiothon sneaks up on us, and it's just like, oh yeah, let me call in and I'll give $20 or I'll give $50, and we appreciate that more than you know. But if you do a little planning in advance so that it doesn't sneak up on you, we would love for you to consider making a donation that maybe isn't just a one-time thing. Maybe it's something where it becomes a monthly donation for you, and it becomes part of your budget. And I think that you will find that seeing that check go out or seeing that transaction in your bank account when it clears every single month is one of the more rewarding things on which you spend money. And it's not spending money where it's going to put, another coffee in your belly or take you on another vacation. It's selfless giving. It's about doing for others. And it is so incredibly rewarding to see. I think you can tell I'm pretty passionate about Palmer Home, as many of us here at SuperTalk Mississippi are. To me, the thing that is most rewarding, because we have gone back year after year after year, and I have had the pleasure of being part of every single radiothon that we've had since it's begun. But it's seeing the children who were 2, 3, 5 the very first time we went, who are now 15, 18, have graduated high school and have moved on to the next stage of their life, whether that's college or the workforce or the military or whatever direction they've gone. Seeing those children grow up in this loving environment and become beautiful young adults. It's just the best. Just the best. And it wouldn't happen without you. And we cannot say to you thank you enough for your support. Said I wanted to go back to this story. The University of Mississippi has released a new study that says sea cucumbers, SEA, sea cucumbers, could hold the key to stopping the spread of cancer. Wait, what? We need more information on this, don't we, Lance?
Oh, yeah, I'm in.
Sea cucumbers could be the key to stopping the spread of cancer. How on earth is that possible? Stick around, I'll tell you when we come back. Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk, Mississippi. Quick timeout. Half an hour left with you. Thanks for spending part of your Tuesday morning with us.
From the Seabrook Paint Day. Huge news. Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi.
When in doubt, move on. No need to sort it out. You're with me now. We'll be again. Other points in between. I want to find.
You are about to learn more than you ever could have imagined about sea cucumbers. So scientists at Ole Miss are studying this. There's a fourth-year doctoral student that is focused on sea cucumbers holding the key to slowing cancer. Researchers partaking in the Ole Miss-led study found that while sea cucumbers are often considered the ocean's janitors, cleaning the seabed and recycling nutrients back into the water, the marine invertebrate holds a sugar compound that could block cancer growth in humans. SULF2, SULF-2, an enzyme that plays a major role in the proliferation and spread of cancerous cells, can be plugged with a drug containing the cucumber's compound. Marwa Farag, a fourth-year doctoral candidate in the Ole Miss Department of Biomolecular Sciences, says this: marine life produces compounds with unique structures that are often rare or not found in terrestrial vertebrates. And so the sugar compounds in sea cucumbers are unique. They aren't commonly seen in other organisms. That's why they're worth studying. In order to take advantage of sea cucumbers and their ability to slow the spread of cancer, according to the study, scientists would need to find a way to synthesize the sugar compound for future testing and eventual drug use. Why is that? Well, one of the problems, according to the study, in developing this as a drug would be the low yield, because you can't get tons and tons of sea cucumbers. Some variants of sea cucumbers are a culinary delicacy in the Pacific Rim. And so one of the scientists says, so we have a chemical route, and when we've developed that, we can begin applying this to animal models. The scientists speak to the interdisciplinary nature of the study, including researchers from fields of chemistry, pharmacognosy, and computational biology, and it underscores the importance of cross-disciplinary collaboration in tackling complex diseases like cancer. Okay, great. They said the research took multiple expertise: mass spectrometry, biochemistry, enzyme, inhibition, and computation. It's the effort of the whole team. C-Spire text line, Mose. Richard, just like with genetic treatment of cancer, if the sea cucumbers could actually help stop the spread of cancer, it will end up being too expensive to use. There's no real money in cancer cure-only treatment. Maybe so. But I am wildly fascinated by this.
I worked for the School of Pharmacy and Pharmacology and Cognosy, raised money for them. You're talking about brilliant people. I mean, what they were doing with sponges 20-something years ago will blow your mind. So it doesn't surprise me that you have the brilliance that they offer, finding solutions, hopefully, to problems that have plagued us. I also have a question to the professor. Is there such thing as a sea pickle?
Only once it marinates.
It doesn't look. It doesn't look as good as it.
Look here. Yeah. So, reading a story like this, sharing a story like this with you, does a couple of things. One, it piques my interest. It's fascinating. And I'm going to get to the really fascinating part here in just a second. But the other thing that it reminds me of, and you can insert your own jokes right here. I know Brian Haydad would. I'm sure my wife would, and others. There is a different level of brain function out there than my little pea brain even has the ability to comprehend. I don't think of myself as an unintelligent person. I think I have pretty good command of the English language. I can speak extemporaneously. I can talk with a small amount of education about a lot of different topics. Can go a lot of different directions. But Lance, my knowledge base is broad but shallow. It's not deep knowledge. This level of brain function from these doctoral candidates and scientists who decided that the sugar enzyme inside a sea cucumber might have the ability to slow the spread of cancer, and then doing tests to prove it, like, mind blown. Complete mind blown. Now, let me blow your mind. Let's learn a little bit more about the sea cucumber. Not in terms of the way that it has the ability to potentially slow the spread of cancer, but just for fun. I found this on the website Discover Wildlife. It may be spineless and about as tough as a sausage, but the holothuriid sea cucumber is full of hidden strengths. When pestered by a hungry fish or crab, this squishy invertebrate found worldwide can erect rock-solid armor in seconds. Special compounds in its skin allow it to stiffen and liquefy its body wall on demand. Particularly useful on a reef, the critter can ooze into a crevice, harden in place, and be virtually impossible to extract. Okay. So that's the camouflage function. But Lance, you can't always hide, right? Sometimes you just gotta fight. So, are there any fighting capabilities for the sea cucumber? Let me read you the headline of this story. This weird sea cucumber fires poisonous intestines from its butt to deter predators. Yeah. If harassed in open terrain, the sea cucumber may draw from a deeper, nastier place and violently eject its intestine and stomach out of its anus.
Ugh.
This distraction, I'd say so, buys it time to slip away. The innards of the sea cucumber are laced with poison, so the slightest nibble by its foe is sure to nip further pursuit in the bud. But if the attack escalates, the annoyed cucumber finally explodes, literally tearing its body cavity and expelling toxins that can kill most organisms on contact, a chemical onslaught known as the cuke nuke.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, if it injects its intestines, it has the ability to grow new ones. The gutless sea cucumber, unable to eat, absorbs nutrients through its skin and immediately starts rebuilding its insides. In about a month, the cuke is whole again with the inner strength to take on what lies ahead. The more you know.
And don't octopus have some type of regenerative capabilities as well? And that'd be pretty cool to have. They'd be able to regenerate a whole new intestine. You know?
I mean, what if instead of Tommy John surgery, like if you tore a ligament in your elbow, you could just sever the limb and regrow it?
Yeah, give me a month. I'm back on the field, ready to roll.
Who needs a year of recovery time? Just let this thing regenerate and we'll be all good.
Yeah, y'all please figure that one out. I'll take it. Sounds like some solutions that as I age, it'd be nice to have those.
C-Spire text line, 601-879-4395, 601-879-4395. Doctors aren't hiding cures. The idea that people wouldn't pay more for a cure than a year-long treatment is a conspiracy theory I will never accept. Thomas says, I'm just an unabashedly dumb redneck. Lance, what does stifferanius mean?
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't either.
Take a guess. I don't know if I could air that, though. But
yeah, let's not. Let's not. I don't know how to recover from all of that.
Yeah, that's got me stumped there. When you have to be appropriate and such.
Gavin Newsom. We'll go back and finish with the governor of California. The list of disingenuous politicians is long and distinguished. Thank you, Top Gun. But he may be at the top of the list. If you go through his ex-post history over the last couple of days, brother, speaking from the ivory tower, speaking with authority, speaking as a tough guy. But you know what he did yesterday? He, you remember the playground fights as a kid that never actually happened? One guy gets in another guy's face, you got friends around, and then you get the, hold me back, because he never actually wanted to fight in the first place. That was Gavin Newsom yesterday. If you missed it, we'll get you up to speed when we come back and wrap things up on Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk, Mississippi.
Scattered like lost words, wheel to the storm and fly.
From the Venable Glass Traffic
with Richard Cross here on Super Talk, Mississippi.
It cut through like a blade. Moving plane is painted mandolin. When ruby frozen turned to stone. For the strings played all alone. The voice of Cherise.
One last time with you, Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk, Mississippi. Thanks for spending part of your day with us. We hope you have a wonderful Tuesday. All right, you remember we played this for you yesterday. Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, challenging America's border czar, Tom Homan, with these words.
Get your hands off these poor people. They're just trying to live their lives, man. Trying to live their lives, paying their taxes. Been here 10 years. The fear, the horror. The hell is this guy? Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy. You know, I don't give a damn. But I care about my community. I care about this community. The hell are they doing? These guys need to grow up. They need to stop. And we need to push back. And I'm sorry to be so clear, but that kind of bloviating is exhausting. So, Tom, arrest me.
All right, so in no uncertain terms, yesterday, and this may have even been Sunday night, Tom Homan, arrest me. Leave these people alone. Arrest me. Got it? Arrest me, Tom. Yesterday, Donald Trump asked if Tom Homan should arrest Gavin Newsom. Now, I will tell you, this is hard to hear. I'm going to turn it up. I don't want to blow you away. You got helicopter noise in the background. You should be able to hear the question. Then it gets a little more clear at the very end.
Tom Homan, if you come and arrest him, should he do it?
All right, I'm going to pause it for a second. The question was, Tom Homan said he would arrest Gavin Newsom. Should he do it? And Trump says, I would arrest him if I was him. But then he's going to come a little closer, and you'll be able to hear him a little bit better.
He's done a terrible job. Look, I like Gavin Newsom. He's a nice guy, but he's grossly incompetent. Everybody knows. All you have to do is look at the little railroad he's building. It's about 100 times over budget. We're putting a flagpole over there. Under budget. I always do under.
All right. So Trump takes a shot at him. You know, their little railroad, it's a disaster. So, to that clip, Gavin Newsom responds, the President of the United States just called for the arrest of a sitting governor. This is a day I hoped I would never see in America. I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican. This is a line we cannot cross as a nation. This is an unmistakable step toward authoritarianism. But you just told them to arrest you. I'm struggling with the disconnect there. Gavin Newsom, in no uncertain terms, arrest me, Tom. I dare you, arrest me. And Homan says, okay, we'll arrest you. President Trump, should Tom Homan arrest Gavin Newsom? I think he should.
Yeah, I mean, why not? He wants you to, so do it.
You know, you talk really tough, and then you're like, they're never going to arrest me. Even after you say, hey, arrest me. And then they're like, yeah, sure, we'll arrest him. And he's like, it's a dark day for America. Why don't you shut your pie hole in the first place? Here's another one from Gavin Newsom.
Donald Trump has created the conditions you see on your TV tonight.
Yep, Donald Trump's fault. Had nothing to do with the fact that we've allowed illegal immigrants to live and work and destroy our community and create an environment where insurrectionists would come in and loot and vandalize. Not our fault at all. It's Donald Trump's fault because he incited this growth. More on Gavin Newsom.
Exacerbated the conditions. He's, lit the proverbial match. He's putting fuel on this fire ever since he announced he was taking over the National Guard. An illegal act, an immoral act, an unconstitutional act, and we're going to test that theory with a lawsuit tomorrow.
Well, I was going to ask you that. Sorry to interrupt you, but Governor, so that's news. If you're going to sue the administration, tell me a little bit about it. Give us a preview of this lawsuit.
Well, under his executive order, it specifically notes, and under what the DOD did, is they had to coordinate with the governor of the state. They never coordinate with the governor of the state. I've worked with the National Guard. We've deployed the National Guard. We did 3,000+ folks have been doing logistics work and fire recovery work, and they're fighting the fires, the rattlesnake teams.
All right, so that's Gavin Newsom. But then if we go back a little bit farther, there's also this from Gavin Newsom in 2024. Right now, he doesn't want the National Guard. Stay away. Stay away. But just a few years ago, he was begging for them.
The San Ysidro port of entry, not too far away, which is the largest in the Western Hemisphere. We were just down here with the National Guard, meeting with customs agents as well as Border Patrol, talking about our partnerships. 390 National Guards men and women that have been working, particularly as it relates to fentanyl here in the state of California.
All right, we need the help of the National Guard to control the border. Leave the illegal immigrants who came across the border alone. Don't you dare send the National Guard. By the way, Trump does have the authority to send in the National Guard. Now, whether he should or not without the request of a governor is certainly up for debate. But when federal law enforcement officials are in danger and federal property is in danger and under siege, the President of the United States does have the authority to send into the National Guard to protect federal troops and federal property. And also to deter. But keep telling us it's illegal, Gavin. Thanks for being with us. Great Tuesday with you. Hope you have a wonderful day. Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk, Mississippi.
A Super Talk Mississippi media production.